Anna Corbett. I'm the Senior Director for Academic Engagements here at East. And with that, I am responsible for the Education Abroad portfolio. Some of you I've known over many years, so it's exciting to see you here. And some of you I know have been in touch with, especially Justine, over time. And so we're really happy to have you here, especially first thing on a Monday morning. I'm gonna ask Justine and Sahar to introduce themselves, and then we'll get going.
Hi everyone, my name is Justine Pinkerton. I'm a senior program officer at East HQ. I will be working with you all through application if you decide to apply and through the pre-departure to get you ready for the programs and just am the contact at HQ for you to get in touch with if you have any questions about the program or application or anything throughout.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. I'm Sahar and I'm the Exchange Program Manager at Amidis Tunisia. I will be your contact in ground if you decide to come to Tunisia, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us from Tunis. It's always very special when you're here, and we're so happy to see you. So, all right, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. Can everybody see? Can everybody see my screen? Okay, awesome. I'm not going to take up too much of your time because mostly we want to be able to talk with you and give you a chance to answer, to ask your questions and have a little dialogue. But I did want to do a little bit of talking, a very little bit of talking about why it is we're here and what we're doing today. So we're here to talk about our Learning for Practitioners program series. A lot of you have known us for quite some time, but for those of you who haven't, I always like to tell, like, who is Amethyst? What do we do? What does Amethyst mean? We get a lot of confused looks and that sort of thing. So I always like to say that we do a lot of stuff. Amethyst has been around, for almost 80 years, working on the ground throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf. We do so many things, but I always like to I think there are three kinds of buckets that we can put that work into. One of those buckets, and one of the most important buckets, I think, is all of the work. There's lots of work that we do on the ground. We have offices in 11 countries throughout the Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf that are very deeply engaged in educational, workforce development, and other kind of really critical programming for particularly young people throughout the region. So it could be anything from like different English language stuff to fintech to microfinancing to civil society development. So that's like one very important bucket of things that happens in all of those different country offices. The second thing that we do is we have a large group of colleagues, and this is how you may have come to know us. If you've known us for a while, you may have had some of our Fulbrighters or other folks roaming around your campuses, right? There's a whole network of colleagues who work very hard on getting students here from the region to the United States. Some of those are on high school programs like the Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange Scholarship, which Sahar has worked on for many years in her capacity in her role in Tunisia. And we also have a number of proprietary scholarships to help young people who are coming to university here make ends meet, right? And along with our Fulbrighters and everything else. And then there's this small little tiny unit, and that's where, Justine and I come in here, which works to send students from the US to the region. That's probably the smallest working unit of the organization. We would love for that to change. But again, what all of that does, all of that work, the combination of that work, we think is what really gives us the value added to what we bring into the education abroad space, whether that is for you all as educators or for your students. It's that, nearly 8 decades of work really within those communities. We always say our host communities are our home communities. That's the truth. And I think that's what we bring as, in terms of adding value to these experiences for you and your students. All right. What are the Learning for Practitioners programs? Well, we're trying to knock out a couple things. We're trying to address a couple of things that we feel very strongly about. One, as any of you who work in the education abroad space know, um, probably fewer students and there fewer US American students and students from US institutions study in the Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf than pretty much any other place in the world. Right. And as people who might be responsible for customized and faculty-led programs at your institutions, you know that fewer programs from your institutions come to our part of the world and then go anywhere else. Um, that's one thing that we're trying to change. Two, traditionally, and it's very colonialist, right? There's the idea that we only go to the Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf to study language and political things, right? What we strongly have always believed in is one, like more, everybody should come. The Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf have something for everybody. Two, anything that you would go anywhere else in the world to study, to explore, to experience should absolutely be experienced in the countries of the Middle East, North Africa, and the Gulf. We know that a lot of your institutions have security concerns. Maybe a lot of your colleagues have security concerns. Maybe a lot of the students you would bring, their parents would be kind of nervous or that sort of thing. So, with this series of programs, Learning for Practitioners, we're trying to help our colleagues on campus become the best, most informed, most excited champions they can possibly be for having programs in this part of the world. Maybe you need support to just kind of know how to do it. Maybe you're looking for a partner to help support your efforts. Maybe you just want to feel comfortable. Maybe you just want to know what are those things that we can do in the region in all of these countries. And this is what we're really trying to do with this Learning for Practitioners series of programs is, build champions. We we can't, we can't succeed in our educational mission without you, right? And so we want to provide you as much support and partnership as possible for anything you want to do or explore in our part of the world. What do we mean by practitioner? I mean, we mean this in literally the broadest possible sense. If you're here, you're a practitioner, right? If you have colleagues on your campus, they are practitioners. We have opened these programs also to our alumni. Most of our alumni were studying with us quite a few years ago when they were in university. Now they're out and about in the world, in the workplace, still engaged with the region, still engaged with the themes of these Learning for Practitioners programs. So we really mean this in the broadest possible sense. If you or someone from your institution or anybody you know, a colleague, is concerned that they may not be a practitioner, I guarantee, like 100%, they are very likely a practitioner. And if there are any concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. This is just to give you a quick snapshot of the program timeline. Applications are due a month from today. I will secretly let you know that we are very flexible with this. We're very flexible with this on all of our programs. So if you need a little more time, if you think that there might be someone, some folks out there, some interest that may need beyond March 2nd to fill out that application, just be in touch. We're not going to tell you no. Justine is your primary contact here in the US for all of the various sort of the different points that the different like benchmarks we have laid out here vis-a-vis this program. And of course, if you go on the ground on our nursing program in Tunisia, you'll meet Sahar, who will guide you, through the during program phase of that particular opportunity. All of our Learning for Practitioners programs, while the themes might be different, and some of the themes are more general and some of the themes are more specific, I should say that even the themes that are more specific, like nursing and health, you don't have to be a specialist in nursing or healthcare or anything like that to come on the program. I mean, it's tailored to practitioners and educators in that field, but you will absolutely get something out of it. The various kinds of activities, the kinds of visits, the kinds of interactions with which we engage you in the host communities, and the kind of relationships that we try to help, facilitate to begin them and to foster them and that sort of thing. They're part of every program, and every program also includes some pretty serious facilitation of, we want you to be able to come away with, if I were going to do a program, if I were going to bring students to Tunisia, if I were going to bring students to Morocco, what would I want them to do? What class would I embed that in? What would I want them to see? What experiences would I want to build into that? What outcomes would I be going for? Our colleagues are going to be helping, facilitate that thinking and those discussions, as we go. I just wanted to, before I would be remiss if I didn't point out here that if you are a participant coming from a community college, we have an award-winning grant in 2025. We were really humbled, also thrilled to receive a Go Abroad Innovation Award for community college programming for our Community College Scholars Fund, which is a donor-funded initiative to support anyone on any program from a community college, any one of our programs, our own programs, who's hailing from a community college. And so if you're coming from a community college, you automatically, qualify for a $500 grant, to cover that portion of the fees of your program. You don't have to fill out a separate application. Okay, just to touch base quickly on Morocco's Arts, Cultures, and Handicrafts program. This is it. Everyone can connect with the arts, right? And so that was the idea behind this program. Through arts and handicrafts, you get to all kinds of all kinds of things. Culture, gender, literature. Um, uh, Economic development programs, social development programs, so many things, film, music, all of these, are embedded. Like there's nothing that you can't take away from a program dedicated to arts, cultures, and handicrafts. It's meant to be a lot of fun as well. Okay, so it's a week long. We try to keep costs down by, not moving you around the country too much, because that's really where costs start to add up. So we try to keep you very close to our the places where our centers are. And this is just like a really wonderful opportunity. Lots of people want to go to Morocco these days. We want to give you something really special, and so this would be it. And also, just widely applicable for all sorts, people from all specializations and that sort of thing. Okay, here's some fast facts for you. These are short programs. They're meant to be like 7 or 8 days. We really keep you moving. They're fun, but it's not without substance. And it's not without like some really brainy, heady work, but still meant to be really a lot of fun. These are all if you've looked at any of our program information so far, this is just a little rehash of that. And yeah, so when we get to the Q&A, please feel free to let us know if you have any questions about that. Want to move on and talk quickly about learning the healthcare and nursing, a Tunisian story. But before I hand things off to my good colleague, Sahar, I want to play you this little clip that we got from a lovely faculty colleague of ours who has taken her students to Tunisia, and she gave us this really great little testimonial, and we just loved it. So we wanted to share. We were so happy about it. We wanted to share it with you, and she was so generous to provide it to us.
Hello, my name is Dr. Emily Richardson, and I am a nurse educator as well as a public health professional who has lived in Tunisia for approximately 4 years and has taught within a US-based university for the last 12 years. And I had the wonderful experience of leading a group of nursing students through a study abroad program in Tunis and Sousse, Tunisia last summer. Through this experience, our students were able to observe a social model of care as opposed to a medical model of care, In addition, they were able to observe and experience and see various social determinants of health. The majority of my students come from extremely affluent backgrounds. They're from large metropolitan areas. They've worked in large teaching institutions, and very few of them have experienced what access barriers look like. And so, through this experience, not only were our students able to observe the strengths of the Tunisian system, such as hands-on assessments, they are far superior to what I've seen in the US, in addition to affordability of care, access to medications, the various spectrums of practice. For example, the scope of a pharmacist in Tunisia looks different than the scope of a pharmacist in the US. My hope through this experience is that our students are able to diversify their thought process when it comes to creating health systems, that they're able to experience and see different systems in a way that are beneficial, and that they can glean information from the US system as opposed to the Tunisian system, and in so doing expand their creativity and innovative metrics for how do we create better medical systems in the future. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And that was really lovely, and that's why now why we wanted to share it with you. And with that, I'm gonna be very quiet, and I'm happy to turn things over to Sahar. Go for it.
Thank you, Elena. And thank you again, everyone, for being here today. Well, the learning for practitioners in Tunisia is pretty much the same concept in Morocco, but maybe I would say that the program in Tunisia is more focused on healthcare and nursing. And I guess because we had a demand for this, like people had questions. And I also want to say that it's not only about healthcare and nursing, because you will also get the chance to also be part of cultural outings and cultural activities. It's a must, like specifically if it's your first time in the country, in the region, in North Africa, there's no way that we will let you go without, having this culinary, experience or cultural experience, because that's also part of the program. So I would say that the program, it's a really beautiful mix. And as Elena said, you don't really have to be like a nurse to be part of this program. You don't have to be a doctor to attend this program. It gives you a good opportunity to have a different perspective and discover a different perspective, a different culture, a different country. And I really, like Elena said, people now, they want to go to Morocco, and I know that people, they want to see also Tunisia. So I really hope that this session here, and we will have the Q&A session that will give you the floor to ask questions, to give you the chance to ask all the questions you have and give you more details about the program that we're offering. Yeah, I just wanted to say it's a beautiful mix. And as you can see here on the slide, I'm not going to read the slide, but for the itinerary highlights, most of them here, you feel like they're focused on healthcare, but there's so much that we add to that itinerary. And hopefully it will be an opportunity for you to, network and have, new friends and connecting with new people. And as I said, getting introduced to a new perspective for a different country. And that's what I wanted to share about the program in Tunisia. And I guess I'll open the floor to questions. If you have any questions about any of the programs, please unmute yourselves and yeah, feel free to share your questions.